Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Drop it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Ball Don't Lie podcast. We are in week 8 already. I'm Ted. He's Justin. It's been another one of those climbing weeks for us last week. Couple just near misses for both of us. But as always, we don't run from our picks. We hide our plays. Quick recap of last week. I went 4-4 in my plays. Justin, you went 2-4, 2-3 in our circle plays again. Looking to get over that hump. Abysmal 12-23 on Circa so far. I haven't put our stuff together very well. I'm at 19-21 and Small at 14-25. Both missed our college football plays, which puts me at a clean 0-6 or 0-7, and you're at 3-4 now. But man, there's been some near misses. It just was brutal. The Packers game was just brutal. I can't believe they didn't go for 2 in that one spot, which would have got us that extra point we needed in the half. But
yeah,
that's gambling.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
The Niners, it was just it got to be a bad spot when those injuries started piling up in that game. Debo with the really bad pneumonia, and turned out he got hospitalized after the game. Then Ayuk with the season-ending injury. Still no C-Mac. They will be leaning heavily on Purdy's shoulders moving forward. So, see if he can get that ship righted. Bye week for Iowa State this week.
Great time for it, by the way.
Great timing for it. And I would appreciate Shipley producing for us in the background again. Other than that, dude, let's get into it. It's time to get hot. I know we keep saying it, but the records are still early. It's a long season. We're only in week 8. There's 11 weeks left to get this right. It just takes a couple good ones in a row. We're back on the right side of 500.
Yep.
I didn't have a bunch. I had some games I really liked, but I only had 5 plays this week, which has been short in a couple of weeks we've had there too. And I did kind of make myself get to a 5th there too. But I can get us jump started, and it's with a team that I kind of liked preseason. They've been wishy-washy, but they're 6-1 ATS this year. And that's the Indianapolis Colts. They are 5.5-point dogs on the road at Houston. They just been playing people tough. Again, 6-1 ATS. The record's just fine. I had them as my dark horse to win the division with some really, really good odds. They win this game. That is more than live on that too. So I just think it's too many points here. I actually did bet it. I actually bought the half point and got it to 6, but I do like the Colts at 5.5.
This would be play number 1 for us then. So agree. I mean, the Texans team, they clearly aren't the same without Nico on offense at wide receiver. Look, I had higher hopes for Richardson this year. I think probably you did as well.
We both did.
He's definitely he scares me. But I do. It's a division game. This is a rematch. Week 1, they took him down to the wire. I do like the Colts here, in this spot. It definitely is going to be an all-out effort. They're desperate. They're really desperate. So couldn't agree more. All right, I'm going to go to – I don't know. I'll be curious. We're probably opposite here. I'm going to lay it with Miami, -3.5 against the Cardinals. We had the Cardinals last week. I feel like Arizona is your typical certain spots you back them when they're at home, then a home dog, you take them. And when they're on the road in a shorter number, you just go away from them. So Dolphins, a lot of question marks, right, with the Tua thing, but there's no doubt that in terms of a focus and that type of standpoint, they're going to be ready to go, right? I mean, they're still thinking that their season is savable. Whether it may be or not, time will tell. But that's what they're telling themselves. Cardinals, I mean, defensively they struggle. They're a weird team. I don't get it. It seems like it just feels like a short number here. So I think the Dolphins, desperate mode again. I'll lay it with them.
We definitely are opposite on this one.
Yeah, I figured you'd have the Cardinals.
And the biggest reasons for me, and I got it at 4.5 when it opened too. It opened at 4.5. It's down to 3.5 now. So I had it at 4 this morning. You're right about the Cardinals defensively, but they were still really bad between the 20s last week. Herbert threw for almost 400 yards, but they did not let him in the end zone once, made him kick 5 field goals. They got way better at their red zone defense there. And if Tua had one more week under him, it looks like he's going to play, I think I would be on your side here. But I've been back on the Cardinals all year, so maybe there's just too much Kyler love for me on that. But the reason I do like them better here is that extra. It's just because it's over 3 points. If got under a field goal, I wouldn't touch it.
Sure.
Is because they were so much better in their red zone defense last week because they gave up those chunk yards the entire game and held down and gave them a chance to win. But they do have to be better offensively. Yeah. They only 16-15 final or 17-15. I don't remember. I think it was 17 final.
Yeah,
they got to score more points. They can't. The Cardinals aren't going to win a bunch of games in the teens. So I'll chalk that up a little bit to maybe just how the Chargers try to play some of their games. But we're opposite there.
Okay, I'll go. I'm gonna lay it with, or I'm gonna take it with the Browns plus 8.5. Division home dog here. It's your classic rule. You blindly bet these over the course of every NFL season. You just come out ahead. And so, it hasn't been great the last couple of weeks. The betting public's definitely been happy. But I think we're going to see it change. And as it started last night, the betting public was all over the Vikings, and we saw how that played out. So we get the upgrade here. Look, no one can tell me that Jameis is not an upgrade with how Deshaun has played. Nick Chubb back in the lineup. What Jameis did on, I think it was like a 66-yard drive for a score last week. They're going to be uplifted here. We don't know how good the Browns are. They don't look very good. They haven't looked good, but you got to give them a little bit of credit here. Big number, Baltimore to be laying. We already know where everyone's going to side. I think it's a sneaky play.
Jameis is going to give you some, but he's also going to move the ball, and they just haven't been able to move the ball. Jameis is going to push the issue downfield. Look, now they have a bunch of playmakers right now on the outside? No, they got rid of their one guy that is. But look, Jameis is going to push the issue, for all of Deshaun's faults and stuff too. We don't need to go into all that stuff too. His speech a little bit about being disappointed in. I mean, he got booed. It was pretty weird stuff after a pretty significant injury.
Right.
It sounds like the guys from everywhere he's been in Jameis, his teammates have always really, really liked him. He comes off as this kind of weird, whatever guy, but I think I'm going to play hard for him. I was glad to see him getting the start for betting purposes over Thompson Robinson. I think maybe he had a little bit of dinged up hand. I think it's going to be Jameis's chance to get the job. I think if he's just wishy-washy, I think they'll go back to DTR. But look, I can get behind this. That's a potential play for us there too. I actually don't hate that. It'd be the Browns or nothing for me there. It's just so many points.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, and I think it'd be interesting to see what you think here. I don't think you like either of these teams, though. I'm gonna go with the Eagles plus 2.5 at Cincy. I've been a big Joe Burrow backer for a long time. They just seem off. There's just something off about the Bengals, and I don't know what it is. Getting Higgins back has certainly helped. Higgins is a stud. But just defensively, they just get gutted defensively, and they never used to be that way. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stop. I think Saquon's going to go crazy. I should have looked at his player props before going this, but I think Saquon is going to have a huge fantasy day. So if you're a Saquon owner, I think you're going to end up being happy. But I'm going to take the Eagles getting points here.
Okay. Yeah, I probably can be convinced. The only thing that it's a little hesitant on is like, I don't know, when is like the kind of get right spot for Cincy, so to speak. And that's the only thing that scares me. Like I don't know. Like that's the tough one to gauge. And I mean, even they just haven't looked right really offensively or defensively. And so, I mean, sometimes you just got to chuck it up to maybe they're just an average football team this year. And
that's just kind of what I think maybe it is that, they have the one guy, Hendrickson, that can get home. They have nobody else that can get to the football, and that becomes a problem. So and I just feel like they just were so much better getting to the ball and on the back end in previous years. And I think that's just the difference. And I still like Burrow's just getting healthy. I feel like he's been better the last couple of weeks, but something's been off them this year. Yeah. And I've been burned on them too many times, where I think it's why I'm leaning the other way. And I was bigger on Philly preseason too.
Yeah.
I had them for the division bet. We'll see what the Daniels injury is like. If he's out for a couple of weeks, I think Philly can probably take a strong hold in the division as well.
Yeah. I will go on a public side here. I'm going to lay it with the Bills, -3 on the road at Seattle. I think last week Seattle's win was little fugazi per se. Turnovers, Atlanta, just turned the ball over left and right. The play right before half was a crucial play. Metcalf scored a touchdown with like 4 or 6 seconds left right before half. That really flipped the game on its head. So I think Seattle, we've seen this before, right? When they've played one of the better quarterbacks in the league, a la Jared Goff, and then they just get scored on. It feels cheap here to back Buffalo. And look, I don't like the coast-to-coast trips. I really don't. I tend to stay away from, or I do take the dog. I think this is newfound love here with Amari Cooper. I think the Bills are motivated, and I'll lay a short number here with him. And I don't know. I might be walking into it, but
it doesn't look like DK is going to play either.
Yeah, I really question Seattle defensively is honestly the play. I just don't think they're good when they have to step up in class. And we saw it with the Niners too.
I can be convinced there too. It'll be interesting to see what you think of this play. I have all road dogs this week, which is not the greatest spot to live in, but it's where I'm at. I got the Cowboys plus 4.5 at San Francisco.
Okay.
Look, I want nothing more than Brock and them to play well and do stuff, but they're just so banged up. And look, they have not been playing well. I get it. The Cowboys have been atrocious. There's still enough guys there for the Niners, but 4.5 just seems like it's maybe a little too much. I think the Cowboys are actually potentially live here as well. So actually kind of like sadly, this is probably my favorite play this week.
Okay. The only thing that probably stayed away from is just because I know the look ahead last week was like Niners were laying like 6 or 6.5 or something. And now it feels like it's almost cheap to back San Francisco based upon what they were laying against. They went off at like 2.5 point favorites last week against Kansas City.
They did.
So, it just feels like it's cheap. Now, granted, the injuries and everything, to your point, are playing a factor in this as well. But
it just depends who plays for the Niners too. I mean, sounds like Kittle's going to be a game time decision. I doubt Devo's playing. Ayuk's done for the year. I think Jennings is back.
Yeah, it is interesting. Dallas is off the bye, so you have that going for you too. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a feel. I really don't have a feel for this game, one way or the other, honestly. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna lay it here in a bigger favorite that I normally don't, but I'm gonna lay it with the Chargers -7.5 over the Saints. Look, this Saints team. It feels like it wasn't that long ago. People were pretty excited about this team, and I had said I felt like this Saints team was going to be horrible this year. And it's looking like it's more and more probably that way. They've lost 5 straight after 2-0. Granted, Carr's been out. The Rattler thing, look, it's tough. Offensively, they don't get anything going. Defensively, they're horrible. I like the spot here for the Chargers coming off the loss. We talked about that Monday night. It feels really good. I think Herbert and company can just move it up and down the field all day. I mean, if they don't turn it over, I think the Chargers win going away. That to me will be the biggest deciding factor if they cover or not. Is just
I just think that like I said, the Cardinals just didn't let them in the end zone last week. They went up and down the field and got 5 field goals out of it. I think they got stopped on a 4th down as well. And another time, like you punch one of those in and get to over 20 points against the Saints, I think you're winning. Probably pretty comfortably. I don't know. The Saints are in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious a car injury is, but this season and probably Allen's job is probably running away from him a little bit. I mean, look, the Broncos did whatever they wanted to. Not that long ago.
Yeah, the Thursday night game.
On the Thursday night game. And there's just the Saints just have too many holes right now.
Yeah,
I still think Olave is healthy. Rattler looked out of place.
Yeah,
so he's just young. I'd be surprised if Rattler is starting. I'll be surprised if he's not on a short leash with Haener, their backup.
Yeah,
better than he came in and mop up duty.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about the Chargers, what they did to your Broncos a couple of weeks back. Like, they got out to a good start. I mean, that's a good defense Denver has, and they really stepped on them right away. And I just don't. I see the same thing here. I think the Chargers are just being a little undervalued strictly because of the result last week. So
that's fair. I'm behind that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we finish up our plays here and get to our college picks, and maybe see if we can circle around and get another Circa pick figured out, why don't we throw and get a word from our sponsors?
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
Welcome back to the Ball Don't Lie. Again, we're in week 8. I am Ted. He's Justin. We got Shipley producing for us in the background again. Got the Ball Don't Lie gear on today. Make sure you visit the Three Beard sites to get yourself one of these bad boys. Got some dolphin flavor in this one, which I do think are the best uniforms in the league, by the way. I only got one play left, man. And then I got a college pick here too. I don't know how many you have left here, but why don't you go ahead and take it?
Yeah, I'm going to do one. It's just kind of I was thinking about over the break if I wanted to add it or not. So, and I will. I'm going to go against my team. I'm going to lay with the Chiefs minus 8.5 on the road. It's kind of against what I said before in terms of just back division home dogs blindly. Look, the Raiders team, they're just not good. Offensively, they got nothing going. Minshew has been absolutely atrocious. Their defense is actually solid. It's just that they're on the field so long. And when you're on the field that long, it's just hard in the NFL. Eventually, you're going to break down. And we kind of saw that last week. I mean, the Rams did 0 to the Raiders last week. I mean, they scored 20, but they had a defensive touchdown. They did nothing. But Minshew handed the game over. I see it being no different this week. They brought in Desmond Ridder, who's probably
there's a chance he plays this week.
Yeah, and actually, that scares me for this pick if he would, just because of
bad.
But I mean, you can't get any worse than what Minshew's done. You just can't. I mean that's the thing.
There's so many holes. They just can't score. Raiders cannot score.
No,
they can't move the. Not only can they not score, like you said, they can't get first downs. They can't get it.
Yeah.
The defense is in the field so much because it is so many 3-and-outs, and it's not really close.
Yeah.
And they're so undisciplined.
Outside of Brock Bowers, I mean, he's a monster. But yeah, I think the Chiefs it's not a great spot for Kansas City off the Niners game. It's a horrible spot. So I get that. But I think they got this weird little rivalry, right? It is a division game. The Raiders did beat the Chiefs last year on Christmas Day. Look, I think Mahomes, he kind of in a weird way will circle this one. I think it's going to be a Chiefs-heavy crowd as well in Vegas. So I will lay it with Kansas City. I think they put a number up on them. And so, yeah.
Interesting. All right. Got any more NFL players? That last one?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to go with my college play. BYU being dogs against 3-4 UCF is interesting to me.
It's wild.
So I'm taking UCF minus 1.5.
Yep, I would agree.
Vegas is telling you what to do here, like begging you what to do here, and
yep,
I'm gonna go against it because I got the BYU is gonna. The public's gonna hammer BYU here just because I see undefeated number 11 team playing against a team with a losing record in UCF, and
yep.
Look, UCF, they won the game last week. That Iowa State stole it, which will take it and run away with it. But boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you here. Yeah, when you see these lines that smell like this.
I mean, they were just – UCF was just what? 13.5-point dogs to Iowa State?
Yeah, now they're favored.
Yeah. It's typically
bad spot.
Way, but this is it's at home.
BYU just we're seeing it too in college football just as a whole. Actually, it's something that probably isn't getting talked about enough, and I think they'll really figure it out next year in terms of the scheduling. These cross country trips are hard, man. I feel like they've actually ruined USC's season. I think USC is actually a good football team, but their travel spots, what they did to this team, is just horrible. I mean, just go back and look at their schedule, what they've had to do. I think.
And don't join the Big Ten.
Yeah. Well, money, right?
Right. Well, yeah. So that's why I feel sorry for him.
Right. So, but yeah, the same thing here, right? This is uncharted waters here for BYU to go down to South Florida. So
I think BYU is a little overrated here right now. Like I think Iowa State is a way better football team than BYU. I really don't think it's close. BYU has stolen a couple this year too. I think this is the spot where they go down.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna lay it. This might be my first pick as a favorite that I've had for college. Michigan minus 5.5 against the rival Sparty. I feel like it's a buy low, sell high. Sparty coming off the win last week over Iowa. Good old Ferentz had his boys ready last week. It was a great offensive showing. Rinse and repeat for the last decade. But somehow it's the OC's fault. I'll never figure it out. But it's interesting.
Bring back Brian, man. That's the name of one of my fantasy football teams this year.
Never the captain's fault. So, but I think here Michigan off 2 losses, back-to-back losses here at Washington and Illinois. They just look bad. This feels like a good get right, bounce back spot, save the type of season. There won't be any letdown, right? This is a big rivalry game. I expect them to be motivated. I expect a big effort. Quite frankly, it's a short number, so I'll lay it. And I don't think Sparty's very good.
No, Sparty's really bad, actually. And that's why it was just there was a weird feel with Michigan State last week on that. But, like, Sparty's no good. I actually think I'll be playing this heavy, too. I think Michigan's going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get back to it. I got 6 plays for Small, 5 for me. I had UCF as my college play. Michigan at -5.5 for Small. My professional plays: the Colts +5.5, the Cardinals +4, Eagles +2.5, Cowboys +4.5, and the Giants +6 on Monday Night Football. Actually, you know what? I didn't talk about that play. That was my last play. I didn't talk.
Yeah, you didn't. No, you didn't.
We better talk about that quick. The Giants +6 at Pitt. I like that. We've talked about this here too. I'm not that big on Pitt, and I love the Giants when they're big dogs like this. I don't like them as favorites, and that's just really about it for me. I think the Giants are kind of an underrated team this year. They're going to hang around. They might not win a bunch of games, but Drew wants us to play Washington. If Daniels was playing, I think I would love that game, but I just don't know if he's playing. And I do not like Mariota.
I actually think he's right. I actually think the Commanders are the right side here, to be honest. It does feel like the Bears are getting a lot of love because of Daniels being out. And so it was close. It was close, Drew. I did almost at it.
Maybe they'll make circa.
Yeah.
All right, we'll run through yours here. You have the Colts +5.5, Miami -3.5, Browns +8.5, Bills -3, Chargers -7, and the Chiefs -8.5. That's 2 big favorites for you there in the NFL.
Yeah,
so I need to get going.
Different.
Hey, difference okay right now. We're going to get back on the right side here. Looks like we have the Colts at +5.5 for our circa, the only ones we agreed on there. We'll get those plays out on the socials. Other than that, you got anything to add, bud?
Nope.
Thanks again to Chris for producing for us in the background. I'm Teddy Small. As always, cash that ticket.